You think calming your child instantly is kindness. Realistically, you are training them to depend on escape. Every time you silence tears with a phone, patience, attention, and resilience quietly erode. By the end, you'll see exactly how daily choices shape your child's brain and what really matters. It's 7:30 p.m. Your toddler is crying on the living room floor. You hand them your phone. Silence. Relief. You know this is not the right way, but you're exhausted, and it works. For now. But what feels like peace is actually teaching them to avoid discomfort instead of handling it. Today you'll understand what their brain is learning every time you choose comfort over structure. And that hidden learning isn't just about behavior. It shapes attention, emotions, and resilience for years to come. You think you are calming them. Realistically, you are just training them to depend on the outside world. Imagine a very familiar scene. Your child starts screaming in a crowded public place. You instantly feel the judging eyes of everyone around you. To buy immediate silence, you quickly pull out your phone and hand it over. The crying stops. Quiet returns instantly. But remember, silence does not mean emotional regulation. This action accidentally teaches your child a dangerous lesson. Whenever discomfort hits, an external distraction will fix it. Instead of developing internal coping skills, the child learns to avoid distress by default. Long-term, the price is heavy. A child with zero emotional tolerance. They grow up dependent on constant stimulation or escape, with no ability to handle frustration in the real world. That simple thought, I just need them to stop crying right now, creates a lifelong consequence. Comfort today becomes weakness tomorrow. But most parents don't realize the root of the problem starts much earlier. It lives inside your own exhaustion, not their behavior. You are correcting behavior that the brain cannot support. Look at a very common situation. Your child is incredibly irritable after school. You immediately decide they are being difficult, and you correct their tone. But the next day, nothing changes. Not all misbehavior is intentional. Brain fatigue destroys impulse control. Right now, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic, is underperforming. Under stress, emotional regulation completely collapses. The danger is mislabeling emotional exhaustion as bad behavior. This creates a painful cycle of punishment without resolution. Your child grows up with deep emotional confusion, while you are left asking, why is my child always like this? If the brain is tired, discipline will fail, and the most common hidden cause begins at night. You are not managing behavior, you are managing exhaustion. The loop repeats every night. Your child stays up late, glued to a tablet, thinking, at least they are quiet now. You compromise and give them just 10 more minutes. The next morning, the day begins with complaints, resistance, and mood swings. A tired child cannot be corrected effectively. Sleep deprivation strips away the brain's ability to regulate emotions. The dopamine overload from screens constantly delays natural rest cycles, trapping the brain in high alert mode. The direct cost is massive attention instability and volatile mood swings. The heartbreaking mistake is when these symptoms are mislabeled as a behavioral disorder. Rest is not optional for brain stability. And what replaces sleep at night quietly shapes attention next. A disrupted night creates a broken emotional day. Every evening, the bedtime battle begins as your child resists going to sleep. Blue light from screens stays on until late, making morning fatigue the new normal. You tell yourself, they will just sleep when they are tired. But sleep is not recovery, it is construction. Blue light secretly suppresses melatonin, delaying the body's natural signal to rest. When this cycle is broken, memory consolidation is disrupted, and the emotional reset is never completed. Your child starts the next day with a brain that hasn't been cleaned. Long-term, this erodes their attention span, spikes their baseline irritability, and drastically reduces their ability to learn. What happens at night defines behavior in daylight. But sleep is only the first habit shaping attention. Every exception becomes a new expectation. A fixed bedtime is ignored. Rules shift depending on your mood, and the child resists the routine even harder. You tell yourself when you are tired, one more exception won't matter. But flexibility without structure creates instability. A stable routine is the only way to train the brain's circadian rhythm. Predictability reduces the stress load, allowing the brain to adapt to timing cues for sleep. On the flip side, inconsistency creates irregular emotional chaos. Sleep resistance increases over time. You cannot expect predictable behavior when the core routine is chaotic. What you repeat becomes what they expect. After rest comes the second invisible builder, attention. What feels boring is actually undeveloped attention. Face this reality. Your child refuses to read a book. They choose short videos instead, becoming restless and impatient after just a few pages. Many parents give up and tell themselves, reading is just too boring for them. But discomfort is not refusal. It is undeveloped capacity. The dopamine loop from quick entertainment forces the brain to favor instant rewards. When that happens, sustained focus feels physically uncomfortable, directly eroding their attention span. The cost is heavy. Weak concentration skills, zero patience for learning, and a total dependence on constant screen stimulation. Attention is trained, not inherited. And what trains attention also trains identity. You are not raising a non-reader. You are raising a non-focus mind. When a daily reading habit is missing, screens instantly hijack your child's free time. As a result, the depth of their conversations slowly disappears. You simply tell yourself, they just don't like books. But preference is shaped, not fixed. Actively engaging the imagination through reading is what expands cognitive power. This language processing strengthens neural pathways, while internal visualization improves their deep comprehension. On the contrary, skipping books forces the brain into shallow thinking patterns. It leaves your child with weak expressive abilities and kills their natural drive for curiosity. What they consume becomes how they think. And when attention is lost, movement disappears next. Safety without movement slowly builds fragility. Look at this pattern. Your child stays indoors after school. Devices completely replace outdoor play, and interaction with others slowly disappears. Many parents comfort themselves, at least they are safe at home. But stillness is not stability. Physical movement is the only natural way the brain regulates and releases stress hormones. Social play builds the critical power of emotional negotiation, while active imagination develops real-world problem-solving. On the contrary, losing play space spikes your child's baseline anxiety. They grow up with weak social confidence and a severely reduced resilience against life's challenges. Emotional strength is built through movement, and without movement, resilience cannot form. Busy children are not always developing children. Look at the reality of an overscheduled child. No free time for exploration, just constant, structured activity. Many parents tell themselves with pride, a busy schedule means they are developing. But activity is not equal to growth. Sleep, reading, and play are not separate. They are one unified system of development. Balanced stimulation from all three is what improves brain flexibility. Autonomy in free play builds real confidence, while natural recovery time prevents stress buildup. On the contrary, overcrowding their life creates deep emotional fatigue. It lowers their ability to adapt and leaves them dependent on external structure. Development needs space, not just structure. Everything leads to one final truth. Parenting is not about improving behavior in the moment. It is about shaping the systems that create that behavior every day. What feels like small daily choices is actually long-term brain training. Some parents react to what happens. Some parents understand what is being built underneath it. You are not raising calm moments. You are shaping how they handle difficulty when you are not there. Notice one habit you often give into: sleep, reading, or screen time. And ask yourself, what is it really teaching your child? If this helped you see parenting a little more clearly, you can stay for more grounded reflections like this. What you repeat quietly becomes what they accept as normal.